I've had this Marshall Studio Vintage for a little while now, and I've gotten a lot of questions about it. Can it work as a pedal platform? How is the effects loop? Is the amp too bright? Does it have any usable clean tones? Is this amp really too loud for playing at home, even on the low power setting? Today I'll be answering those questions as well as providing some sound demonstrations of the amplifier, but be warned, if you're expecting some mindless blues noodling that doesn't ever seem to end, Stevie Ray Vaughan or Hendrix riffs, I regret to inform you, you have clicked on the wrong video. Players love the Studio Vintage because it nails that plexi vibe without needing any other overdrive pedals in front of it. However, it can do a whole lot more than that. This is a 2-channel amplifier. It has a normal channel and a high treble channel, each with a high sensitivity and a low sensitivity input, which allows you to dial in a variety of tones. Let's start by plugging into the high sensitivity input on the normal channel. I'm going to be using a guitar that has a reputation for being notoriously bright, the Fender Jaguar. Before I switch to a different guitar, I'm going to try to use some time-based effects in the effects loop. I'll be using the Strymon Big Sky MX and the Earthquaker Devices Silos to see how it sounds. Now on this kind of lower gain setting, let's try and use this as a pedal platform and get our dirt from the Brown amplification protein. Not only can we get some great meaty tones out of a bright guitar like the Jaguar, the effects loop worked great, even when I was using more extreme settings on the Strymon Big Sky MX. The amp also worked really well with those settings as a pedal platform. I just had a little bit of reverb coming from the Big Sky MX, turned on the Brown amplification for a little bit of dirt on that kind of mellow clean tone that we had going on from the amp, and it was just incredible. I just started vamping and going off on a tangent because it just sounded so good in the room. So yes, it has usable clean tones and can work as a pedal platform. No, it is not too bright, even for a Fender Jaguar. And yes, the effects loop works well. Now let's try the high treble channel with the PRS. The PRS matches really well with this amplifier and maintains a lot of the high end when you're rolling off the volume or you're adjusting your pick attack. Although with this specific guitar, perhaps going into the lower sensitivity input would be a better choice if you wanted a more vintage sound. Finally, let's hear the amplifier with two staple guitars, the Fender American Vintage 265 Strat and the Gibson Les Paul. The guitars are going to be plugged into the normal channel's high sensitivity input, and we're going to jump the two channels together using a patch cable. When I was filming the demo about this guitar, the American Vintage 265 Strat, I could not believe how good it sounded with the Studio Vintage. I knew it was going to sound great, but I wasn't expecting to really just like fall in love immediately with it. It is just such a perfect match. The experience of playing it in the room and the volume, it's just all the magic and all the things that I grew up with loving about playing guitar. Which perfectly brings us to the final question I'm going to answer in today's video, at least give my opinion on. Is this amplifier too loud to use at home if you don't have an attenuator? I need to preface my answer here because it's important that you know where I'm coming from. I started off as a drummer long before I ever picked up a guitar, so extremely loud sound sources are nothing new to me. That being said, if you live in an apartment complex, a townhouse, or just any sort of living situation that you feel like your neighbors can hear exactly what you're saying, if you're just talking at regular volumes in your living room, you might not be able to get the most out of this amplifier. If you're living in a house, on the other hand, even if your neighbors are close by, I would say no, this is absolutely not too loud. Maybe I am in the minority on this one, but the volume concerns some people have said in other reviews is just so overblown to me. They made me feel like the second that I turned this amplifier on, I was going to blow the windows out, the neighbors were going to call the cops, my wife was going to immediately file for divorce. Fortunately, none of those things have happened. It's by no means a quiet amplifier, but that's not what I'm looking for when I plug into a Marshall. I want to feel the air. I want to experience the guitar providing feedback via vibrating and shaking when I'm playing it at volume, because that's what rock and roll is all about. So my answer would be no, it is not too loud to use at home without an attenuator unless you live in an apartment. That wraps up today's video. Thank you for making it until the end. For any further questions, feel free to use the comments section down below. And as always, I have links in the description for all the gear that I used today. They are affiliate links, and if you do end up buying anything from one of those, it greatly helps support this channel, and I appreciate all of you that do that. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take it easy, everybody.